And now, Andrew Does Everything proudly presents Cinderella, based on the story of Cinderella. Once upon a time, there lived a young girl named Cinderella. Cinderella had 3 ugly, mean stepsisters named Olive, Nina, and Esme. Olive, Nina, and Esme made Cinderella do all the chores. "Sweep the floors, wash the dishes," said Olive, Nina, and Esme. One day, the king of Onlyville's messenger said, hear ye, the king of Onlyville is going to throw a ball. And whoever has the most beautiful gown and crown shall marry his son, Prince Singling. But Cinderella is not welcome. Her stepsisters are. Olive said, he's going to marry me. Nina said, no way, Olive. He's going to marry me. Esme said, both of you are wrong. He's going to marry me. Later, Cinderella is so sad that she cannot go to the ball and marry Prince Singling. Suddenly, her fairy godmother arrives and asks Cinderella what is wrong. Why are you crying, Cinderella? She asks. Cinderella responds, I wanted her to go to the ball and marry Prince Singling, but I'm not welcome. The fairy godmother waved her wand and chanted the magic word, Winnity, Waterity, one! And then, Cinderella's chores are all done. But the fairy godmother is not done yet. She said, Cinderella, go fetch me a good old pumpkin. Luckily, Cinderella has one pumpkin. The fairy godmother waved her magic wand and chanted the magic word, Winnity, Waterity, one! Again, and to turn Cinderella's do-rag and clothes into a gown. I've never seen such a wonderful gown. I get a load of my glass slippers, and then the pumpkin into a carriage drawn by 2 strong horses. The fairy godmother said, have fun, Cinderella, but I will warn you, return home before midnight, or the spell will be broken. Cinderella accepted the warning. Meanwhile, at the ball, Prince Singling was wondering who he should marry. Olive, Nina, and Esme said all together, he's walking towards me. But he's not walking towards any of them. He's walking towards Cinderella. Cinderella and Prince Singling dance happily together. But later, Cinderella realized it's almost midnight. So she scurried out of the ball, and she was running so fast that she lost one of her glass slippers. Prince Singling was so worried that he might never see Cinderella again. So he traveled around Onlyville to find her and brought the glass slipper with him. He knocked on the door of the house where her Cinderella and her stepsisters lived. He said, ladies, I have a favor to ask. Can any of you try this glass slipper? Olive is first, but her foot is too big. Nina is next, but her foot is too small. Esme is last, but her foot didn't fit either. Suddenly, Prince Singling noticed Cinderella singing. Winterella said. Prince Singling, is that you? Prince Singling said, of course it's me. Winterella gets so excited because she's having to have her Prince Singling back. And they lived happily ever after. The end. I hope you enjoyed this story before bed enters doors. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share to my video. Take care. Bye and good night, everybody. Andrew's Doers. Andrew Does Everything proudly presents Cinderella. It is based on the story of Cinderella. Let's tell you the story, shall we? Once upon a time, there lived a young girl named Cinderella. Cinderella had 3 ugly, mean stepsisters named Tina, Winona, and Una. Tina, Winona, and Una made Cinderella do all the chores. Sweep the floors, wash the dishes, do it all, said Tina, Winona, and Una all together. One day, the king of Doubleburg's messenger said, Hear ye, the king of Doubleburg, his majesty, is going to throw a ball, and whoever has the most beautiful gown and cross shall marry his son, Prince Twinning. But Cinderella is not welcome. Her stepsister, Tina said, he's going to marry me. Winona said, no way, Tina, he's going to marry me. Una said, both of you are wrong, he's going to marry me. Later, Cinderella is very sad that she cannot go to the ball and marry Prince Twinning. And her fairy godmother asks Cinderella what's wrong by saying, why are you crying, Cinderella? Cinderella responds, and sadly, I wanted to go to the ball and marry Prince Twinning. Her fairy godmother said, I can help with a bit of double magic. She waves her magic wand and chants the magic words, dibbly dabbly doubly do. And all of Cinderella's chores are done, but the fairy godmother is not done yet. She said, Cinderella, fetch me a pumpkin. Luckily, Cinderella has 2 pumpkins. The fairy godmother waves her magic wand and chants the magic words, dibbly dabbly doubly do. Again, turning the 2 pumpkins into a handsome coach drawn by 2 strong horses, and then Cinderella's clothes into a gown and crown. I have never seen such a double-tasted gown. And get a lot of my glass slippers. Cinderella is now ready for the ball. Her fairy godmother said, have fun, Cinderella, but I would warn you. Return home before midnight, or the spell will be broken. Cinderella accepted the warning. Meanwhile, at the ball, Prince Twinning was wondering who he should marry. Cinderella, of course. Tina, Winona, and Una shout out together, he's walking towards me! But he's not. But he is walking towards Cinderella. Cinderella and Prince Twinning danced happily together. But later, Cinderella realized it's almost midnight, so she screamed out of the ball. And she was running so fast that she lost both her glass slippers. Prince Twinning was so worried, afraid that she might never see Cinderella again. So he traveled all around Doubleburg to find her, and brought the 2 glass slippers with him. He knocked on the door where Cinderella, Tina, Winona, and Una lived. But instead of Cinderella, he found Tina, Winona, and Una. Ladies, I have a favor to ask. Can any of you try on these 2 glass slippers? Prince Twinning asks. Tina is first, but her feet are too big. Winona is next, but her feet are too small. Una is last, but her feet are on the right size of her. Suddenly, Prince Twinning noticed Tuarella's sweet singing. Tuarella shouts excited, "Prince Twinning, is that you?" Prince Twinning responded, "Of course it's me. You are from my father's ball. I love you. Will you marry me?" Tuarella gets so excited because he's happy to have Prince Twinning back. And they both lived happily ever after. The end. I hope you enjoyed this story, Andrews Doers. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share, and buy our merchandise. Take care. Bye. Oh, yeah. And now, Andrew Does Everything proudly presents Cinderella, based on the story of Cinderella. Once upon a time, there lived a young girl named Cinderella. Cinderella had 5 ugly, mean stepsisters named Tasha, Hannah, Rena, and the twins Ellie and Emmy. Tasha, Hannah, Rena, Ellie, and Esme made Cinderella do all the chores. "Sweep the floors, wash the dishes, do it all," said Tasha, Hannah, Rena, Ellie, and Emmy all together. One day, the king of Tripleville's messenger said, "Hear ye, hear ye! The king of Tripleville is going to throw a ball, and whoever has the most beautiful gown and crown shall marry his son, Prince Stripling." But Cinderella is not welcome. Her stepsisters are... Tasha said, "He's going to marry me." Hannah said, "No way, Tasha! He's going to marry me." Rena said, "Both of you are wrong. He's going to marry me." Ellie said, "All 3 of you are wrong. He's going to marry me." Emmy said, "Are you kidding, sister? He's going to marry me." Later, Cinderella is so sad because she cannot go to the ball. Suddenly, Cinderella's fairy godmother asks what's wrong. "Why are you crying, Cinderella?" she asks. Cinderella responds, "I can't go to the ball and marry Prince Tripling." The fairy godmother said, "I can help with a bit of magic." She waved her magic wand and chanted the magic word, "Triply, trappily, troubly, true." And then Cinderella's chores are all done, but the fairy godmother said she's not done. He then said, "Cinderella, go fetch me a good old pumpkin." Luckily, Cinderella has 3 pumpkins. The fairy godmother waved her magic wand and chanted the magic word, "Triply, trappily, troubly, true." And then the 3 pumpkins turned into a handsome coach drawn by 6 strong horses. And then Cinderella's do-rag and red dress turned into a gown and crown. Cinderella said, "I've never seen such a triple-tastic crown and gown. And get a load of my glass slippers." The fairy godmother said, "Have fun, Cinderella, but I would warn you. Return home before midnight, or the spell will be broken." Cinderella accepted the warning. Meanwhile, at the ball, Prince Tripling was wondering who he should marry. Tasha, Hannah, Rena, Ellie, and Emmy say all together, "He's walking towards me." But he's not walking towards any of them. But he's walking towards Cinderella. Cinderella and Prince Tripling dance together. But later, Cinderella realized it's almost midnight, so she scurried out of the ball. And she's running so fast that she lost one of her glass slippers. Prince Tripling was so worried. He afraid that he might never see Cinderella again. So he traveled around Triplefell to find her and brought the tiny glass slipper with him. He knocked on the door of the house where Fiorella and her ugly, mean stepsisters lived. Ladies, I have a favor to ask. Can you try on this glass slipper? Tasha first. Hannah second. Rena third, and the twins last, but none of their feet fit. Suddenly, Prince Tripling noticed Fiorella singing. She exclaimed, "Prince Tripling, is that you?" Prince Tripling said, "Of course it's me." Fiorella gets so excited because she's happy to have Prince Tripling back. And he doesn't need to put on the glass slipper back on Fiorella's foot because it's so uncomfortable. And they both live happily ever after. The end. And now, Anna Does Everything proudly presents Cinderella. It is based on the story of Cinderella. Let's tell you the story, shall we? Once upon a time, there was a young girl named Cinderella. Cinderella had 5 ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters named Eliza, Isabella, Georgia, Hannah, and Tasha. Eliza, Isabella, Georgia, Hannah, and Tasha made Cinderella do all the chores. Sweep the floors, wash the dishes, do it all, said Eliza, Isabella, Georgia, Hannah, and Tasha all together. Then one day, the king of Autolihan's messenger arrives and says, "Hear ye, hear ye! The king of Autolihan is going to throw a ball, and will have the most beautiful gown and crown shall marry his son, Prince Autopling." But Cinderella is not welcome. Her stepsisters are. They then argue over who will Prince Autopling marry. Later, Cinderella is so sad that she can't go to the ball and marry Prince Autopling while doing chores. Suddenly, her fairy godmother asks Cinderella what's wrong by saying, "Why are you crying, Cinderella?" Cinderella responds, "I got lots of chores to do, but I can't go to the ball and marry Prince Autopling." Cinderella's fairy godmother said, "I can help with a bit of magic," and waved her magic wand. Because of that, Cinderella's chores are all done, but her fairy godmother is not done yet. She said, "Cinderella, go fetch me a pumpkin." Luckily, Cinderella has a pumpkin. Cinderella's fairy godmother waved her magic wand again to turn the 8 pumpkins into a handsome coach drawn by 16 strong horses, and then Cinderella's rich clothes into a gown and crown. Cinderella said, "I've never seen such a terrific gown. Get a load of my glass slippers." Her fairy godmother said, "Have fun, Cinderella, but I would warn you, return home before midnight, or the spell will be broken and everything will change back to the way it was before." Cinderella accepted the warning. Meanwhile, at the ball, Prince Autopling was wondering who he should marry. Eliza, Isabella, Georgia, Hannah, and Tasha say all together, "He's walking towards me." but he's not walking towards any of them. He's walking towards Cinderella. Cinderella and Prince Othello danced happily together. But later, Cinderella realized it's almost midnight, so she scurried out of the ball. And she was running so fast that she lost both her glass slippers. Prince Othello was so worried that he might never see Cinderella again. So he traveled all around Othello had to find her and brought the 2 glass slippers with him. By the time he arrives, he knocks on the door of the house where Cinderella, Eliza, Isabella, Georgia, Hannah, and Tasha lived. But instead of Cinderella, he finds Eliza, Isabella, Georgia, Hannah, and Tasha. He then says, "Ladies, I have a favor to ask. Can you try on these glass slippers?" Eliza is first, but her foot is too big. Isabella is next, but her foot is too small. The rest did the same, but none of their feet were the right size. Suddenly, Prince Othello notices Cinderella's sweet saying, "The glass slippers fit!" And Cinderella gets so excited because she's happy to have Prince Othello back. And they both lived happily ever after. The end. And Andrew Stewards, I hope you enjoyed this story. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share on Andrew Does Everything. And buy our merch in Dice 2. Take care. Bye. And now, Andrew Does Everything proudly presents Cinderella. It is based on the story of Cinderella. Once upon a time, there lived a young girl named Cinderella. Cinderella had 3 ugly, mean stepsisters named Tina, Elena, and Nina. Tina, Elena, and Nina made Cinderella do all the chores. "Sweep the floors, wash the dishes, do it all," said Tina, Elena, and Nina all together. One day, the king of the Cobblebur's messengers said, Hear ye! The king of the Cobbleburg is going to throw a ball, and whoever has the most beautiful gown and crown shall marry his son, Prince Cobbling." But Cinderella is not welcome. Her stepsisters are. Tina said, "He's going to marry me." Elena said, "No way, Tina! He's going to marry me." Nina said, "Both of you are wrong! He's going to marry me." Later, Cinderella is so sad doing her chores that she can't go to the ball and marry Prince Cobbling, while her fairy godmother asks her what's wrong by saying, "Why are you crying, Cinderella?" Cinderella responds, "I have lots of chores to be done, but I can't go to the ball and marry Prince Cobbling." Cinderella's fairy godmother said, "I can help with a bit of magic." So she chants the magic words, "Tintity tantity tantity too," and waves her magic wand. Because of that, Cinderella's chores are all done, but her fairy godmother is not done yet. She said, "Cinderella, go fetch me a pumpkin." Luckily, Cinderella has 10 pumpkins. Cinderella's fairy godmother chants the magic words, "Tintity tantity tantity too," and waves her magic wand again to turn the 10 pumpkins into a handsome coach by 20 strong horses, and then Cinderella's were closed into a Ghana town. Cinderella said, "I've never seen such a sensational gown. And get a load of my glass slippers." Cinderella's fairy godmother said, "Have fun, Cinderella, but I would warn you, return home before midnight, or the spell will be broken and everything will change back to the way it was before." Cinderella accepted the warning. Meanwhile, at the ball, Prince Declining was wondering who he should marry. Tina, Alina, and Nina said all together, "He's walking towards me." But he's not walking towards any of them. He's walking towards Cinderella. Cinderella and Prince Declining dance happily together. But later, Cinderella is almost midnight, so she scurried out of the ball, and she was running so fast that she lost both her glass slippers. Prince Declining was so worried that he might never see Cinderella again. So he traveled all around Decouplebird to find her, and brought the 2 tiny glass slippers with him. He knocked on the door of the home of where Cinderella, Tina, Alina, and Nina lived. But instead of Cinderella, he finds Tina, Alina, and Nina. Prince Declining then said, "Ladies, I have a favor to ask. Can you not find me these 2 glass slippers?" Tina is first, but her foot is too big. Alina is next, but her foot is too small. Nina is last, but her foot isn't the right size either. Suddenly, Prince Declining noticed Cinderella's sweet singing. Cinderella then gets so excited because she's happy to have Prince Declining back. And Prince Declining doesn't have to put the 2 glass slippers back on her feet because they're so uncomfortable. And now they've both lived happily ever after. The end. Andrew's Doers. If you want to see some sequels, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Andrew does everything, and buy our merchandise, etc. And take care. Bye. And now, Andrew's Doers. Andrew Does Everything proudly presents Cinderella. It is based on the story of Cinderella with a bit of a plot twist. Let's tell you the story, shall we? Once upon a time, there was a young woman named Cinderella. Cinderella had 8 ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters named Eliza, Isabella, Georgia, Hannah, Tasha, Eleonora, Esme, and Naomi. All 8 of them constantly made fun of Cinderella and made her do all the chores. 18er wench! Sweep the floors, wash the dishes, do it all, said them all together. And then one day, the king of Otto the Cunningham's messenger arrives and says, "Hear ye, hear ye! The king of Otto the Cunningham, his kind-hearted, bold, wise majesty is going to throw a ball, and whoever has the most beautiful gown and crown shall marry his son, Prince Otto the Coupling." "Can I come?" asks Cinderella, but she's not welcome. Her ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters are Eliza, Isabella, Georgia, Hannah, Tasha, Eleonora, Esme, and Naomi are overjoyed. They ran with huge excitement and picked out dresses to wear to the ball. Later, Cinderella is so sad, doing chores about not going to the ball and marrying Prince Otto the Coupling. Suddenly, her fairy godmother arrives and comforts Cinderella. There now, Cinderella. I can help with a bit of magic. Nobody will know it's you, she said. She then waved her magic wand. And because of that, and not a minute too soon, 18 Cinderella's chores are all done. But her fairy godmother is not done yet. She said, 18 Cinderella, go fetch me a pumpkin. Luckily, 18 Cinderella has 18 pumpkins and 36 mice. 18 Cinderella's fairy godmother waves her magic wand to turn the 18 pumpkins into a handsome coach, the 36 mice into horses, and 18 Cinderella's rift clothes into a gown and crown. 18 Cinderella said, I've never seen such a fantastic gown! And get a load of my glass slippers! Fairy godmother, how could I ever thank you enough? And climbs into the coach. 18 Cinderella's fairy godmother said, well, you can't. But have fun, 18 Cinderella. But I will warn you, return home before midnight, or the spell will be broken and everything will change back to normal. And so, 18 Cinderella accepts the warning. Meanwhile, at the ball, Prince Otto Coupling was wondering who he should marry. Wondering who to marry, Prince Otto the Coupling? Asked the wise, bold, kind king of Otto the Couplingham. To which Prince Otto the Coupling responds, yes, father. Eliza, Isabella, Georgia, Hannah, Tasha, Eleanor, Esmeralda asked him for marriage one by one, but Prince Otto the Coupling angrily denies their request. 18 Cinderella arrives at the ball just in time. Prince Otto the Coupling then sees her, walks straight towards her and says, you must be 18 Cinderella. May I please have this dance? Yes, I would be happy to, said 18 Cinderella. 18 Cinderella and Prince Otto the Coupling dance happily together. But later, 18 Cinderella realizes it's almost midnight, so she scurried out of the ball. And she was running so fast that she lost both her glass slippers. Prince Otto the Coupling was really worried that he might never see her again. The king of Otto the Couplingham comforts him by saying, there, now, son. I think we'll be able to find 18 Cinderella. And so, the next day, Prince Otto the Coupling and the king of Otto the Couplingham traveled all around Otto the Couplingham to find 18 Cinderella, who captured Prince Otto the Coupling's heart and brought the 2 glass slippers she lost with them. By the time they arrived, Prince Otto the Coupling knocks on the door of the house where 18 Cinderella and her 8 ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters lived. But instead of 18 Cinderella, they find her ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters. Prince Otto Coupling then says, ladies, my father, the king of Otto the Couplingham, and I have a favor to ask. Can any of you try on these 2 glass slippers? Eliza is first, but her feet are too big. Isabella is next, but her feet are too small. Nonsense! They fit! The rest did the same, but none of their feet are the right size. Suddenly, Prince Otto the Coupling and the king of Otto the Couplingham noticed 18 Cinderella's sweet singing. Prince Otto the Coupling and the king of Otto the Couplingham, your kind, bold, and wise majesty. Is that you guys? She heard excitedly. 18 Cinderella, my dear daughter-in-law, we found you! Exclaims the king of Otto the Couplingham. And so, the king of Otto the Couplingham, the 18 Cinderella, and Prince Otto the Coupling lived happily ever after. The end. I hope you enjoyed this story, understood. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share, and introduce everything, and buy our merchandise at introduceeverything.com. Take care! And I've been debating on making some sequels. Bye!